In this video, we will show you how to create an online course website in WordPress. Here we will utilize the LearnDash LMS plugin and Kadence theme. To get started, you will need a new WordPress site. You can get your fresh WordPress website from a hosting service like Liquid Web. You can find the links in the video description. Visit those links and get a fresh WordPress site in minutes. Then follow this tutorial. Alright, so this is our WordPress website. The first thing that we will need is LearnDash. As you guys know, LearnDash is a paid plugin, and you have to get a paid plan in order to use LearnDash. So now we're here in the pricing page of LearnDash. Before we continue with the tutorial, we need to get LearnDash, and there are several plans available for this plugin. There's a 1-site, 10-site, and unlimited site licenses. The 1-site license is available for $199 a year. The 10-sites plan is $399 a year, and the unlimited site license is available for $799 a year. You can get any paid plans from here. You can visit the link in this video description to get LearnDash. Now we already have the plugin, so let's go ahead and install it. We're going to go to the plugins and click on add plugin, and from here we're going to click on the upload plugin button over here, and then click on choose file and select LearnDash from our computer. Alright, now we're going to click on the install now button and wait for the plugin to install. Alright, the plugin has been installed. Now let's activate it. And if you're launching LearnDash for the first time, you can launch the setup wizard from here. Now, if you're launching WordPress for the first time, it's going to ask you to launch the setup or go to the setup wizard. If you click over here, it's going to start the setup wizard. And this is the LearnDash setup wizard. Now, you can dismiss the setup wizard by clicking over here, but I think it will be really helpful if you go through with it. So we're going to click on Get Started button over here. And here you will have to add your license details, your email, and the license key. After you add a valid license key, you can click on the Validate button. If the validation is successful, you'll get this message: your license is valid. If you see that your license isn't valid, then recheck the license key and the email. Okay, after this, we can see there's another message over here: communication preferences. Would you like to use the email above for all LearnDash emails and course notification? If you want, you can click on yes. If you want, you can click on no. All right? So we're going to click on the next button. Next, it's going to ask you, do you want to import a demo course, a fully built course that helps you understand LearnDash? Now, what this is going to do is it's going to create a demo course with topics, lessons, quizzes, so that you can explore the course and understand how LearnDash works. If you select yes, but we are not going to do that. We're going to select no because we will be building the course from ground up. Next, it's going to ask you how many courses are you planning to create. If you want to create just one course, have this selected. If you want to create multiple courses, select multiple. Next, it's going to ask you what type of courses will you have. So if you want to create a simple course or a certificate course, a timed course, or a group courses, you can choose what type of courses you want. You can select all of these or have only a few selected. Right, we're going to select all and click on next. Again, it's going to ask you, do you want to charge for your courses? Of course, you want to sell your course, so remember to select yes. Then you will be given an option to set up your payment gateway. You can use Stripe and PayPal, or if you prefer WooCommerce, you can choose WooCommerce as well. Then you can also choose what currency will you be accepting. We're going to choose USD. And then we're going to click on next. Now here's what the setup will do for you. It's going to create registration success, reset password and profile pages so that your students will be allowed to register for your courses. Again, it will also create course listings, so you'll be able to display all your courses. And finally, it's going to add the certificate builder and WooCommerce. Now this depends on what kind of payment gateway you have selected. You can use WooCommerce, you can use PayPal, Stripe, and many more payment gateways. All right. So after you have confirmed all of this, just simply click on save and complete. Alright, now this launched the WooCommerce setup wizard. Since we will be using WooCommerce, we can go through with this as well. So we're going to click on set up my store. I'm going to choose I'm just starting my business. This is the name of our site. We can choose our industry, education and learning. We can choose our location, and then click on continue. And it's going to show you some other plugins you can install. We're going to just select all of these and have only get paid with WooCommerce selected and click on continue. Now after a few seconds, WooCommerce will be ready. Then you can connect this website to your WordPress.com account. Alright, so we are done with setup wizards. Our LearnDash plugin is installed, activated, and ready to be used. So is WooCommerce. Now, WooCommerce will ask you to customize your store, add products, set up payments, etc. But we are going to do this later on. Before we go on creating courses, we need a perfect theme. So for this, we're going to hover our mouse over Appearance and click on Themes. Then from here, we are going to click on Add Theme, and then we are going to find Kadence over here. If you cannot find Kadence, you can search for it on this search bar. We're going to click on Install and wait for the theme to install. All right, it's been installed. Now let's click on Activate to activate the theme. All right, now let's go to the WordPress dashboard. Now we have our theme ready. Here it's also saying LearnDash LMS WooCommerce. We have noticed that you have WooCommerce guest checkout enabled. Please note that purchasing a product with an associated LearnDash course or group still requires an account to ensure successful enrollment. So we're going to close this up. Then we are going to visit our site and see how it looks like. All right, it looks terrible. In order to speed up our design process, we're going to import a starter site from Kadence. For this, we're going to go back to our dashboard. Now we're going to hover our mouse over Appearance and click on Kadence over here. And over here, you're going to see all the features from Kadence. What we're going to do is click on this Starter Templates tab. And here we can install the Kadence Starter Templates plugin. To do that, we're going to simply click on this button and wait for the plugin to install. All right, so the plugin has been installed and activated, and now we can use a starter template. As you can see, there are a lot of these templates, but not all are free. Some are only available in the Pro version of Kadence. As you can see that these have premium labels. So we're going to choose the free only. And from here, we're going to choose course. So these are the free course starter templates. There are a few. We might not get the exact type of template that we are looking for, but if you have Kadence Pro, you might have access to more premium templates. So for our purpose, we're going to use this template. This is a very beautifully designed site. Of course, this is made for 3D courses. So we can choose any colors or fonts from here, but I'm going with the default one. So let's click on the next button. Then we are going to have this selected and import full site. In the advanced settings, you can see these two options. Have these enabled. Now let's click on the next button, and from here it's going to ask us what we need for this template. We need Kadence blocks, LearnDash, and WooCommerce. We already have installed and activated LearnDash and WooCommerce. It's going to install the Kadence blocks plugin for us. So let's click on Finish and Launch. And now let's click on Start Import. All right, the import is complete. Now let's click on See My Site. So this is our website. As you can see, everything imported successfully. We have these beautifully designed sections, a little bit details about our courses. Great. Also a section for our teachers and instructors, some testimonials. Okay. So this is our website. Now that we have our site, we can move on to course creation. Now, since we have a 3D website, let's create a course on 3D animation. Now, we are going to go back to our dashboard and we are going to head over to LearnDash and click on Courses. Now, as you can see, some courses are already added. Now, these courses were created when we imported our theme. So we want to keep all of these just for design purpose, but we want to insert our new course. Now, before we create the course, we might want to take a look at the settings, although we don't need to do anything over here because we have gone through the setup and the settings has been set up in a perfect way. So we'll have access to the course builder, step displayed 20 per pages, shared course steps, course table pagination. We can enable this if we want, and others. So we don't need to actually do anything. Just make sure that the course builder is switched on or enabled. Now let's get back to the courses tab. And from here, we can click on this Add New Course button directly so that we can create a course, or we can click on this drop down and we will see there are two options: create from video playlist and create course outline from AI. If you want to take the help of AI in order to create your course outline, you can choose this option. Or if you already have a course on YouTube, Vimeo, or Wistia, you can click on Create from Video Playlist, and what it will do is create the course outline for you from your playlist. We have a detailed tutorial on this topic. You can find it in the video description. All right, now we're going to click on Add New Course button, and it's going to take us to the course page. Since we are using a 3D theme, let's create a 3D animation course. So the name of our course will be Introduction to 3D Design as a Career Path. Now let's add some course content. All right, we added some lorem ipsum texts. We can also insert images and videos as well. So let's go ahead and add an image. We're going to choose the image block from here, and we're going to choose an image from the library. So these are all the images that we got when we imported our starter site. So let's go ahead and add this image. This looks very beautiful. We're going to click on select, and here is our image. Let's size it down a little bit, and let's align it to the center. Now our course page is looking a lot better. So here, what you should do is actually add your course description, what this course is all about, what will your students learn, etc. All the details you can put in this page. You can also record a video. You can also create an introductory video for your course and add it over here. So instead of the image, what you can do is click on this plus button and search for video. So you can either choose video, or you can also choose YouTube. If you have the video on your YouTube, you can choose YouTube and you can add the URL, and your introductory video will be added over here. But we don't have any introductory video right now, so we're not going to include it, okay? So after that, what we are going to do is move on to the builder section. So this is where you create your course curriculum. Over here, you can see there are two options, new lesson and new section heading. Normally what you do is add new lessons and add topics and quizzes within those lessons. You can also add sections as well. So let me show you how you can create a course. We're going to click on new lesson, and we are going to enter a title. All right, so this is our title. We're going to click on add lesson, and we have our first lesson. In this way, we are going to add a few more lessons. All right, we added more lessons. Now you can see how it looks like if you have more lessons. You can also drag and drop these lessons around to better align your course. Now you have lessons. What then? Normally, if you want to create a simple course, that is all you need. What you simply do is hover your mouse over a lesson, click on edit, and add content within those lessons. It's just as simple as that. But if you're creating a complex course, you can nest topics within your lessons. Let's see how you can do that. What you can simply do is hover your mouse over a lesson and click on this little arrow over here, and it's going to expand the lesson. Now you can add a new topic or a new quiz. So let's go ahead and add a new topic over here. We're going to add a title just like we did for the lessons, and then we can click on add topic. All right, so we have a topic. Now, in the same way, we are going to click on new topic and add another topic, like so. And again, we can click on new topic and add another topic, click on add topic. And in this way, we can add as many topics as we need. And of course, you can drag and drop these topics if you want. Okay, so following this same method, we are going to add more topics to our lessons. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we added several topics within our lessons, and you can also understand the number of topics each lesson have by this number. You can see it says 3. That means we have 3 topics within this lesson. All right, now that we have lessons and topics within our course, it's also time to add a featured image for our course. To do that, we are going to head over to the course section over here. And here we can see an option to set featured image. We are going to click on it. And we are actually going to upload our own featured image from our computer. All right, so that is our featured image, although it doesn't match our course title, but still this image will do. All right, now that we have our featured image, now let's learn how to add content within your lessons and topics. First of all, let's learn how you can add content within your lesson. To add a content, you simply hover your mouse over the lesson and click on edit. But before you do that, make sure to either publish or save draft. We don't want to publish our course just yet, so we're going to just save draft so that our progress isn't lost. Now we are going to edit, and it brings us to the lesson builder. This is where you can add your lessons. Now here you can add texts, you can add images, you can add videos. There are various ways through which you can add content within your lesson. To add videos and images, you already know you have to choose images, or you can bring out the video block and add your URL from here. But there's also another way. So if you want to create videos or video progression for your course, there's a better way. What you can simply do is head over to settings. And from here, you can see there are various settings for your course. Starting from lesson materials. If you want to include lesson materials, this is where you can add those lesson materials. You can also add images. Again, in the video progression, if you enable this, This is where you can add your video URL, iframe, or shortcode. Suppose you have a video on your YouTube. If you want to add that video to your LearnDash lesson, you simply copy the URL of the video and paste it over here. To show you guys how this thing works, we are simply going to copy the URL of one of our YouTube videos and paste it over here. So this is one of our YouTube videos, and how does this look like? We are going to see later on. The next options are display timing. There are two options: before completed substeps, after completing substeps. By default, this option will be selected. What will this do? Let's read. The video will be shown and must be fully watched before the user can access the lesson's associated steps. So normally this option will be fine for most of the course types you're trying to create. But if you have some requirement, for example, the students have to do some tasks before being able to view this video, you can choose after completing substeps. What will this do is the video will be visible after the user has completed the lesson's associated steps. The full video must be watched in order to complete the lesson. If you have selected this option, you can also choose the lesson auto completion, completion delay. You can also include mark complete button. But we are creating a simple course, and for this we're going to choose this option. You can also enable the auto start, video control display, video pause on window unfocused, video resume. All these options you can include. By the title of these options, you already know what each of these options do. So we are going to actually allow the video controls, and we are going to enable the video resume feature. Again, we can also include the assignments upload. The next option is the assignment uploads. But if we have lesson timer or video progression enabled, we won't be able to enable the assignment uploads. The next option is forced lesson timer, but again, because we have video progression enabled, we won't be able to enable this. But what this does, if we click over here, we will know the lesson cannot be marked as completed until the set time has elapsed. So there will be a fixed time for each lesson. For example, let's say 5 minutes. Students have to spend 5 minutes in order to complete this lesson. They cannot finish the lesson or mark it as complete before 5 minutes. Okay. The next options are sample lesson. So if you want, you can make this lesson sample. This lesson is accessible to all visitors regardless of course enrollment. So if you want to give your potential students a sample of your course, you can enable sample lessons for them. The next one is actually a content drip feature. Here you can choose the lesson release schedule. By default, immediately will be selected. This will make your lesson available on course enrollment. But if you want, you can enable the enrollment based system. Here you can specify after how many days of enrollment the students will be able to view this lesson. If I say 2 days, so students after they enroll to this course, after 2 days they will be able to start this lesson. Again, there's the specific date option. Here you can choose a specific date and time when this lesson will be available. But we don't have any special content requirement, so we're going to choose immediately. Again, we can make this external lesson. So the lesson takes place in a virtual setting, for example, Zoom, or in person. So if you're taking this lesson in person, you can choose this. If this lesson will be taken by Zoom, you can enable this, and you can choose if the attendance is required or not. We're going to disable this because we're not taking an online live class. Next, you can add short description, duration, enable video preview, custom button text, and custom ribbon text. We're not going to touch anything over here, but you can add a short description, mention the duration, and you can also enable the video preview if you want. All right, so after we are done, we're simply going to save changes. And now we can view lesson if we want, but we're not going to do that just yet. We are going to create our course first, then take the course and see how it looks like. Of course, you can also set featured image for each lessons and topics from here. Now let's get back to lessons. And now this brings us back to our dashboard. We are going to go to the courses and click on edit. Now let's move on to the builder. And that is how you can add content to your lesson. Now, what about topics? This acts as same as the lessons. Let me show you. We are going to hover mouse over this topic and click on edit. But before we do that, we're going to again save draft and then edit. All right, now let's add some content. And this time, let's not add any videos. And you can see that everything is as same as the lesson. If we move on to the settings, you can see the settings is as same as lessons. Topic materials, if you want to add video progression, you can add from here, the video options, and assignment uploads, topic timer, the content drip, external topic, and all other features are same as lessons. Okay, so if you want to add content to your topics, this is how you can do that. So we're going to click on save. And now let's get back to our course. All right, we went on ahead and added some content for all these topics. Now that we have lessons and topics, the other thing we must do is add quizzes to make our course more challenging and interesting. So to add a quiz, what we can do is click on New Quiz from within this course builder. We're going to click on New Quiz, and we're going to add the name or title of this quiz. We're going to call it Quiz 1 and click on Add Quiz. All right, so this is a quiz, and just like the lessons and topics, we have to populate it with questions. So first we're going to click on Save Draft, and then we're going to hover a mouse over here and click on Edit. Great. Now to add quiz content, first you can add some quiz description over here. All right, so we have some description. Now you can also add a featured image for your quiz if you think that's a good idea, but we are not going to do that right now. We're simply going to go to the builder over here and start adding quizzes. To add questions, we can click on New Question over here. Then we need to add a title to our question. We're going to simply call it Question 1 and click on Add Question. And as you can see, the question has been added. Now we're going to expand it by clicking on this small arrow over here. Next, from this drop-down, we can choose the question type that we are going to create. We can choose either single choice, multiple choice, free choice, sorting choice, matrix sorting choice, fill in the blank, assessment, essay, and open answer. So these are the question types you can create in LearnDash. First, we are going to choose the single choice. Let's see how you can create single choice questions. In the question section over here, we're going to click on this pencil icon and add in our question. All right, so this is our question. We're going to click on save. Now we can add options. So the first option is already added. We're going to again click on this pencil icon and then write our option. So this is our option. Then we're going to click on update answer. And then we are going to add a new option just by clicking over new answer. And then we're going to click on add answer. And in this way, we are going to add 2 more options. All right, we have all these options. We can also drag and drop this if we want. So we also have to choose which is the correct answer so that the LMS can understand which is the correct answer. So the question is, which of the following is not a common application of 3D design? Our answer should be cooking recipes. So we are going to choose this. And now we have a single choice question. We can also click on question settings, and this will expand this area. Here we can add message for correct answer and message for incorrect answer. So let's go ahead and add some texts. Great. We can also provide a solution hint if we want. You can also award different points for each answer by enabling this option from here. But we're not going to do that. We're simply going to save our changes. And that's how you can add questions. You can also choose how much point you are going to award your students from here. You can choose 1 point, 2 point, etc. It's up to you. Now let's go ahead and fold this up and add another question. And let's call it question 2. Great. Now let's expand this and from the drop down, let's choose the fill in the blanks. And here we can add in our question. Fill in the blank with the correct word. Now we're going to click on save. And in here, we are simply going to click on it. And the rules of creating a fill-in-the-blank question has been given over here. We have to use these French brackets to mark a gap and correct answer. So for example, I play soccer. This will appear as I blank soccer. So students have to write the correct word in the blank. So let's go ahead and write our question. All right, so our question is the process of applying surface details, colors, and patterns to a 3D model is called texturing. So this is the word that will be blank and students have to answer it. So we're going to click on update answer. And now we have 2 questions within this quiz. In this way, you can add as many questions as you want within your quiz. We're going to save our changes. And before we actually move on to the course builder, we're going to visit the settings. And here you can see there are some quiz settings. There are actually a lot of quiz settings. I don't think we have the time to discuss all of these, but let's just talk about a few. First of all, the quiz release schedule. You can see that you have the content drip feature for quizzes as well. You can choose immediately, enrollment based, and specific date when this quiz will be available. You can enable the external quiz, so you can make this quiz external. You can choose if this quiz will be in a virtual meeting or in person. You can also choose the course prerequisites. So students have to complete another quiz in order to take this quiz. Since we only have 1 quiz in our website, we cannot choose any course prerequisites from here. You can also choose allowed users. So if only registered users can take this quiz, you can enable this as well. Next is the passing score. How much marks students should get in order to pass this quiz. Since we have 2 questions, let's make it 50%. So if students answer only 1 question successfully, they will pass. You can also allow a quiz certificate from here, enable quiz saving, restrict quiz retakes, question completion, time limit, and there are other options that you can take a look at. All right. But after you're done, you can save your changes. All right, now let's click on back to quizzes, and you can see that your quiz has appeared over here. You can also see the quiz shortcode. Okay, now let's get back to our course and let's click on Builder from here. And now we can see we have some content within our lessons, topics, and we also have a quiz. So in this way, you can create your entire course. You add lessons, and then you can add content within those lessons. But if you have a more complex course and you need to add nested topics, you can do that by adding topics. All right. So once you are done, what you are going to do is click on Settings. And from here, you can choose the enrollment mode. You can either choose Open, so your course will not be protected and will be accessible by everyone. Your students don't even have to create an account to get access to your course. You can also make this course free, so your course will be protected, but students have to register and enroll in order to take this course. Then you can also make this course buy now. So now in order to purchase your course, students will have to pay through PayPal or Stripe, which will be a one-time payment. You can add the price over here. Let's say $85. You can also include the course enrollment URL over here. You can also choose recurring. So in this case, what will happen is your course will be protected, but students will have to keep paying a recurring fee in order to get access to the course. And finally, you can select closed. In this case, the students will be enrolled only through admin enrollment or integration through shopping cart or membership, etc. If you're using WooCommerce, this might be the way to go. First, you choose closed, and then you go to WooCommerce, create a product, and then view that product on your course listing page. I'll show you how you can do that. First, let's make this course free, because we want to actually show you how this course looks like. So let's keep it free. And in here, you can include course materials. So let's go ahead and add some course materials so that we can see how it looks like. All right, so we added some course materials from here. Then you can also include a challenge exam. So a challenge exam basically allows students to take a quiz, and if they are successful in answering all the questions correctly, they will be able to skip that course. Now we have a separate tutorial for this. If you want to learn how you can set up challenge exam, you can check out that video to learn more. You can find that tutorial in the video description. Then from the course content, you can choose either always visible or only visible to enrollees. So the course content, I believe everyone should be able to view it, even the students who are not enrolled. They will at least be able to check out the course content, the structure of the course, what they'll be learning. So if they're interested, they can enroll. We can also add custom pagination or course completion page from here. Then finally, if we scroll down in the access settings, we can choose requirements for enrollment. So currently we have no requirements, but you can include prerequisite courses. So if students need to complete some other courses in order to enroll into this course, you can include the prerequisite from here. Again, you can also include course points. So students have to gain certain number of points in order to enroll to this course. But for our simple course, we do not need such things. We're simply going to set the requirements to none. You can mention the start date and end date of this course, and also mention the student limits if you want. If we scroll down over here, you can include a course certificate and course completion points. So students will receive some points when they complete this course. And finally, in the course progression, there's the linear and freeform. By default, linear will be selected. I believe this is the best way to progress through the course. So students will pass through the course in designated sequence. So they have to complete lesson 1 in order to get to lesson 2. And in order to get to lesson 3, they have to complete lesson 2. So that is how they will be able to progress. If you choose freeform, they will be able to access all the lessons, topics, all the course content freely. And finally, there's the course students. You can assign or enroll students to this course. So if this is a student, we can simply click on this button over here. Our student will be assigned. But we're not going to do this from here. We're going to show you from the front end. And finally, you can add a short description, duration, enable video preview, custom button text, and custom ribbon text. We're not going to bother with this one, so we're simply going to scroll up. And now let's click on publish. Publish. All right, our course has been published. Now let's click on view course. And this is our course page. So we can see the course title. We can see the progression. There's 24 steps in completing this course. So this is our course page. We can read about it over here. And here's the materials section. So these are the materials that we will be including within this course. So this is finally the course content. We can expand this and view the content. Perfect. So that is how our course looks like in the front end. Now let's see how you can monetize this course. Since we are using WooCommerce, what we are going to do is go back to our dashboard. All right, before we monetize our course, let's actually head over to WooCommerce settings. We're going to hover a mouse over WooCommerce and head over to settings. And from here, we're going to choose the Accounts and Privacy tab. Here you can see in the checkout, it says Enable Guest Checkouts. By default, it will be selected and it is also recommended. In the account creation section, you can allow customers to create an account during checkout or on My Account page. Also, there's extra options over here for account erasure requests. You can remove personal data from orders on request or remove access to downloads on request, or you can allow personal data to be removed in bulk from orders. Now, although this is recommended, I hope that you remember we read a notification where it said purchasing a product with an associated LearnDash course or group still requires an account to ensure successful enrollment. So in that case, we actually have to select this option. So after you are done, you can simply click on Save Changes and then head over to the Payments tab. Here you can choose the payment methods for your WooCommerce site. During installation or the setup wizard, we actually set up Woo payments. So you can use that. So your viewers or students can use Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and other credit cards to pay for the course. You can also install PayPal payments just by clicking on Install over here, and you'll be able to enable PayPal for your WooCommerce plugin. There are also other payment options. For this, you just click on this small arrow and it will expand it. And you can install Stripe for WooCommerce by clicking over here, or AirWallex payments by clicking on here. Now, we are not going to go through this installation, but the process is actually very simple. You simply install, connect your Stripe account with your LearnDash site, and you'll be able to take payments through this. So once you're done with payments method, now we can create products. To do that, we're going to go to the product section and click on Add New Product. From here, we are going to name our product. So this is the name of our product. Now here we can add some description. All right, after this, we can also set a product image from here. We're going to set the same image. All right, now if we scroll down here, we can see there are some more options such as product data. We're going to click on this drop down and we can see that the type of product we're creating: simple product, group product, external or affiliate product, and finally variable product. But this is an online course and we need to choose online course, but we're not seeing it over here. This is because we haven't actually enabled WooCommerce from LearnDash extensions or add-ons. So let's go ahead and do that. First, we're going to save this as draft, and then we are going to go to LearnDash and click on add-ons. From here, we'll be able to find many add-ons for LearnDash, such as To Checkout for LearnDash, BBPress, Easy Digital Downloads, etc. So we are going to actually find the WooCommerce for LearnDash, this one. Now let's click on install and wait for this add-on to install. All right, now let's scroll up, and over here we are going to activate this add-on by clicking on this icon. Now WooCommerce for LearnDash has been installed and activated. Now if we go back to products, this was our saved product. We're going to click on edit. All right, now let's scroll down. In the product data, we're going to click over here. Now we can see there's a new option called course. So we're going to choose course, and now we can add a price to our course. You can also add a sale price for your course, but it's optional. So we are going to click over here and it's going to give us all the courses that we have. Now, Introduction to 3D Design as a Career Path. This is the course that we want, so we're going to select it. All right. After that, we can also choose a category, but you can see that we don't have any category right now. So we're going to click on Add New Category, and we're going to call it 3D Course. All right, now let's remove the uncategorized. And here we can add a small description. All right, so here we have the description, and that's about it. We don't need anything else. Now we are simply going to click on Publish. And from here, if we view our product, let's see how this looks like. So this is our course. Now, in order to complete this, we are still going to go to the courses section in LearnDash. Over here, we're going to click on Edit. And from the settings section, we have to make it closed. Now let's click on Save. And now we are done. So let's get back to the courses section. And you can see that we already have published our course. Now let's actually go to the front end of our site, if we view the courses tab, the courses page is using the default LearnDash course grid block to display all the courses. But since we're using WooCommerce, we have to use the WooCommerce products block. So let's go ahead and do it. And we're going to get back to our dashboard. And then we're going to go to our pages section. From here, we're going to edit the course page. Now we will be adding in our own course list. So we're going to click on this plus button, and from here we're going to type in products. And from here we're going to choose the product collection. We can simply drag it and drop it over here, or we can simply click on it, it doesn't matter. Then it's going to ask you what products do you want to show. Now there are a lot of options over here, but we're going to click on create your own, and they're going to add the product over here. Alright, so here's our course. Now, if you have multiple courses, all of these will appear over here, and you can choose what type of products you want to include. So if you want, you can also remove this or add more products. So currently we have only one product, so let's keep it over here. Now, keep in mind that this is a WooCommerce product. If you want to add the other courses, you have to create those in WooCommerce. So we're going to remove this as we don't need it, and also this section. Alright, now let's click on save, and now let's view the page. And we can see that the course page is now showing our product, although we could add a little bit spacing from top. So let's go ahead and do that. So over here, what we're going to do is bring up this block inserter and search for spacer. So here it is. We're going to drag it and drop it over here. And then we're going to expand this a little bit. Now let's click on save. And now let's view the page. Now you can see it looks a lot better. So if you have more courses, in order to sell those, you have to create more WooCommerce course products, and then those will be added over here as well. Now, if you don't want to use WooCommerce or want to use the built-in payment system of LearnDash, that is also possible. So for that, what we're going to do is head over to our dashboard. And from here, of course, you have to disable WooCommerce since you won't be using it anymore. Okay? Then you have to go to LearnDash LMS, go to settings. And from here, you can click on the Payments tab. And from here, you can see you can connect PayPal Checkout, Razorpay, and Stripe Connect by default. You can click on Manage. So if you want to connect to Stripe, you can simply click on Manage or click on Connect Stripe and connect your Stripe account with your LearnDash site, and you'll be able to take in payments. And the same goes for PayPal and Razorpay. Now, LearnDash supports many other payment gateways. You can check out the documentation to learn more. If you use any of these, what you're going to have to do is go back to the LearnDash course list. So what you're going to do is go to Edit and remove your collection. What you're simply going to do is expand this and search for LearnDash course list. Here it is. So if you add this, all the courses will be listed over here. Now let's save all these content, and also let's disable WooCommerce. So we're going to go to plugins, installed plugins. We're going to deactivate WooCommerce from here. And also, since we're not using it anymore, we're going to go to the add-ons and deactivate the add-on. Great. Now you can use the default LearnDash payment gateways to check out. Okay, so that is also possible. But again, you have to go to your course, and since it's already closed, we're going to click on Edit, go to the settings, and choose Buy Now and add the course price over here. Now if we click on Save, this will be a paid course. If we view the course, now if we go to the courses section, now since we are already enrolled into the course, we won't see the Buy Now option. Let's visit this page in an incognito or a private browser to see the changes. Now we can see that all these courses have the price tag over here. We cannot enroll to them, but we have to purchase this course in order to enroll in. So we have to log in and then purchase it. So that is how you can monetize your courses in LearnDash. Almost everything is complete. One more thing that we need to do for our course is add a certificate. Now LearnDash has a certificate builder included. All you have to do is go to the add-on section and enable it, just like you did with the WooCommerce add-on. So let's get back to the dashboard and let's go to LearnDash, click on add-ons, and then scroll down. Here you can find the LearnDash certificate builder. We're going to install it. Once it's installed, we are going to activate it. And now if we go to the certificate section, we will be able to add new certificate. We're going to click on add your first certificate. And here we will be able to add the name of our certificate. Okay, so this is the title of the certificate. Now we are going to publish this certificate. And now we are going to click on use certificate builder. This will give you an interface to design your certificate. In order to design a certificate, you have to add various design elements, texts, images to make this certificate look beautiful. So for this tutorial, we won't be making any extraordinary design for a certificate, but if you guys want to learn how you can design a beautiful certificate for your course using the LearnDash Certificate Builder, we have a tutorial on that topic. You can find it in the video description. Alright, so we have designed a certificate, and it might not look that stylish, but this will have to do. Alright, so we're going to save it. We can get back to certificate, and now let's get back to our courses. And from here, we're going to choose Builder, and finally go to Settings. And from here, let's scroll down, and in the course certificate, we're going to choose our certificate and click on Save. Alright, so our course is now complete. Now, all that's left is to view this course as a student, so you can see how this looks like. So we're going to visit our site, go to Courses, and since we're already enrolled, we're going to click on Continue Study. And this is our course. Let's start with the lesson. Alright, so this is our video. We can watch this video. Alright, so our video is complete. Now let's scroll down and let's head over to the next topic. And this is our next topic. We can mark it as complete and then move on to the next topic. Then move on to the next topic. And finally, if we go to the quiz, here we can start the quiz. We can take the quiz. So this is the correct answer. We're going to click on Next. So this is the fill in the blanks. Let's add in our answer. Now let's click on Finish Quiz, and the quiz is complete. We have answered everything correctly. Now we can view questions. And you can see the quiz response is written over here and over here. So that is how our course looks like from the front end. Now to make our courses a lot more interesting, what we can do is enable the focus mode. So let's head over to the dashboard and go to LearnDash Settings. And from here, we are going to enable the focus mode. Let's click on Save. And now let's take the course. Let's go to Courses. Let's click on Continue Study. And let's expand this and view our lesson. Now you can see this looks a lot better. If we look at the lesson, this is our video. And then we can move on to the next topic. The focus mode actually allows learners to focus more on the course by eliminating various distractions. Now, another thing I want to show you is how to change the design of your website. Suppose you're using another theme and you're trying to create another course. In that case, you might need to change the design of your theme. So in order to do this, first let's see how you can add in your logo, customize your header and footer. So we're going to hover mouse over Appearance and click on Customize. Kadence gives you a lot of freedom to customize your website, as you're going to see now. After this opens up, go to Header, and from here you can see this is the Header Builder. How the Header Builder works is that it has 3 rows, the top row, middle row, and the bottom row. What you simply do is drag all these elements from this left side and drop it in any of these boxes to add in your content. For example, I want to add a button. In that case, I can drag it and drop it right beside here. Now you can see there's a login button over here. I might want to grab it and drop it over here. It might look better. Alright, so we have a login section now. If you want, you can also drag in other elements such as social icons and drop it over here. So we have placed it on the top row. That's why it's appearing over here. So in this way, you can actually add elements to your header. Now, in case you want to customize any of these, what you can simply do is, for example, I can click on this settings of this button. Then we can choose the label of the button and also the URL. So when users click on this login button, where it's going to lead them to. You can also customize the button style and the visibility. So we're going to remove this for now. And let's talk about the logo. So to customize the logo, what we can do is click on this settings button over here, and this is the logo. You can change the logo just by clicking on this button, and you can upload your own logo by going over here and selecting the file from your computer. We're not going to upload any logo because we don't have any designs ready. You can also customize the width of your logo. You can customize the logo layout. So if you want the title to be there, you can choose this one. If you want the logo, title, and tagline, you can choose this one. You can also add a site title and a tagline from here. You can customize the design from this tab as well. So that is how you can upload the logo. As for the primary navigation, if we click over here, we can change the item spacing. We can also enable stretch menu. We can also customize the design from here. Now, if you want to choose what pages will be here, you can do that from the menu section. But before we go to the menu section, let's actually check the footer. So if we scroll down over here, you can see this is the footer. If you want to customize the footer, you can click on the footer over here. And you can see the footer is exactly like the header builder. It has 3 rows and you can add contents or elements within these rows. Again, if you want to customize these contents, such as the widget 1, you can simply click over here, click on got it, and you can add in your elements. Currently, there's only one image. If you want, you can also add other things such as heading. So we added a heading. You can add spacing, more designs. You can be more creative and add more elements like this. So we're going to remove this and just keep the design as it is. I'm just showing you how you can customize this design, okay? You can add more widgets and customize those as well. If you want to change the copyright text, you can click over here and you can write your copyright text over here. You can change the alignment. You can also customize the content vertical alignment from here. All right, now let's actually look at the menu. So if we go to the appearance and click on menus, and from here, we can actually choose our main menu. And then we can select what type of pages we want to include over here. Currently, there's home, courses, about, services, contacts, and about again. So we can see that there are 2 about sections. We can simply remove one, like so, and click on Save Menu. All right, so that will help us now. In this way, if you want to include something, you can simply choose it and click on Add to Menu, and those will be added. And after you're done, make sure to click on Save Menu. All right, I'm going to remove that, click on Save Menu, and now let's visit our site. And you can see that it's looking a lot better because we removed that extra About page. Now, if you want to edit these sections, you can simply click on Edit Page. And from here, if you want to edit the texts, you can just write whatever you want from here, and you can also customize the buttons. So you can choose these buttons and add in the URL. So when they click on Try Now, where this is going to lead them to, and you can also choose the Buy Now button and add in the URL. You can also change the Buy Now text from here as well. Everything is very easy to edit. We can see that this column has also the image of this robot. You can also change these images by clicking over here. For example, you can click on Edit Image and you can add in your own image from here or upload from your computer. So it's really easy to change and edit all the things over here. You can also add more elements and start customizing your site. However, in this tutorial, we're not going to show you how you can customize each elements and go very deep within the customization, because that will make the tutorial a lot longer. Okay, I'm just showing you how you can change certain elements. You can replace these images, these backgrounds, how you can change these texts, images, how you can add links to your button. Everything is very customizable. Okay, so that is how you can customize or edit your WordPress pages. So that is how you can create an e-learning site using LearnDash and Kadence. We hope that this video was helpful for you. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more helpful videos such as this one. So thank you for watching. See you next time.